Rev up your engines!
Well, another car maker has filed for bankruptcy. It's not Fisker. They'd already done it. All these clowns think we can make luxury cars and make a whole bunch of money. They're all thinking of Elon Musk buying Tesla and making expensive luxury electric cars, right? Well, he's a rarity. You probably haven't heard of these people. It's called Radford Motors. They made rich sports cars for rich snobs. Now, this company was launched in 2020, so they haven't been long. And it's in Newport Beach, California, just figures, I mean, look, they're making cars for rich people. These Radford started at $1 million a piece, so I'm not crying. If anything, I'm crying crocodile tears, right? Of them leaving. Another rich man's toy has gone down. Great. Do we need Ferraris and Lamborghinis? No, they're just stupid things. They're annoying. The people who drive them are generally annoying and obnoxious. I wouldn't care if they all went away. Our society would be better off without them. But another one's gone. Radford Motors is bye-bye. These clowns, they get together, a bunch of rich guys. One guy was an ex-race driver or something. Oh, we're going to make this. They always fail because how many people are going to be buying these things, right? There's so many guys out there, actually, that do custom builds. Why the heck would you start a company making these things? You got to go by all the regulations and everything, where the custom build guys don't have to. They get a car and then they can custom make something and out it goes. It's because it's not original factory, it's custom made. There's a lot of different laws covering that. It makes much more sense if you want to make fancy cars. Make them one-off for people, one at a time for high-end. Don't start an actual company because you'll end up like them, bankrupt. EPA standards and all that stuff. And obviously, they couldn't handle the whole thing. The company doesn't exist anymore. And it's not even an electric car. Those are regular cars. Well, you better watch out if you go to a tow yard. People can get nasty. Well, man who ran a company called Receiver Towing, he slugged a customer, said, "You can't park there," because he parked in a handicap zone. He punched the guy, but it turns out the guy he punched had a veteran handicap sticker and a license for veteran handicap. It cost him $1.2 million. Now, is he going to pay? Who knows? Guy's trying to get his daughter's car back in Salem, Oregon. He was slugged multiple times by an out-of-control manager. Just thought, this is my place. You parked on the handicap place. Didn't even look to see that the guy had handicap stickers, right? So he beat up a handicapped guy. This guy's, I'll tell you, tow truck places, they're a bit on the sleazy side. You don't want to mess with these people. The manager of this tow place says to the guy who parked at the handicap parking spot, he said to him, and I quote, "I can see why your vehicle was towed in the first place. You can't pay attention to rules." The man who was punched, Mr. Bunch, who was 62, had license plates that says he's a permanently disabled veteran and a blue placard on the truck. Instead of looking at that, he punched the guy a bunch of times. They're not the nicest people on the planet, a lot of them. They call the tow truck guys vultures for very good reasons, that they're the vultures flying around, waiting for a car to die on the road, and then they swoop in and take it away, right? That's why they call them vultures. And if you've ever seen vultures, they fight amongst each other, too, to see who gets the most meat or to see who gets to tow the car away. Well, this guy, now he's got to pay $1.2 million for beating up this guy because, guess what? He was an absolute swine. Gee, they should have put him in jail, too. They didn't say anything about jail time. I hope they give him jail time, too. There we go. Take heed from our warning. Don't mess with people in junkyards that are salvage yards, usually affiliated with the junkyard. But then again, maybe you want to go there and get beat up and get $1.2 million. Hey, what the heck? Take a few punches, make $1 million. Hey, well, finally, I got an article about green technology from a company called Clean Technica that admitted the real-world hydrogen refueling stations that use electrolysis are far less efficient than they assumed they were. The level of efficiency was so much lower. Listen to this. Turns out that the stations that they built in California, they were actually out of service 2,000 more hours than they were open pumping hydrogen. They assumed they were going to have a 4% inefficiency of well, they'll be down there fixing them. Turns out it was a lot more than 30%. When they were down, they had to be fixing the stupid things. Now, they lie to us, as the guy in the article showed. They say that, they make it look better by saying that hydrogen refueling stations that make their own hydrogen are in the 60 to 70% range of efficiency, using water and making hydrogen. these stations were creating their own hydrogen. And some of them, they were using solar panels. There's one in California. It had solar panels. Get this. It had the capacity for 15 to 20 cars a day. 15 to 20 cars a day. It was the side of a highway, right? Thousands and thousands of cars going out. They can do 15 to 20 of them per day if it's a sunny day. This stuff is just a joke. It's future technology that isn't working today, yet they keep pushing it. It's more than ironic that these stations were in California, the land of La La Land, right? But even these green guys are admitting, hey, these things aren't even as efficient as they say they are. They use fake statistics to say, oh, it's 60 to 80% efficient. But they're only talking about one particular conversion. They're not talking about half the time the station's broken and it isn't working. If it's cloudy outside, the efficiency's zero because they're not creating any electricity to make this stuff. And even when it's sunny, they can only do 15 to 20 cars a day. The world is not ready for hydrogen. Let's face the facts. They're trying to push things out, and it isn't working. And if they think it's going to work in the near future, they're out of their minds. We don't even know how long these fuel cell cars would actually last, right? How long they last before the membranes break, and then you got to repair them, and nobody knows how to fix them and all that stuff. But you can't even get the fuel for the thing. So why don't they just give up with it? Well, there's something to watch out for, why I hate machines giving people tickets. A North Carolina man was charged with hundreds of dollars in toll bills in 3 states that he hasn't even been to this year. And you think, how could that happen? Because they're machines, and they don't have any level of high intelligence. They're just reading your plates, right? Of course, they don't even know who's driving a car. What if somebody took your car and drive it? You're going to get through, right? But this wasn't that case. In this case, some crook made fake license plates on his vehicles. They're commercial vehicles. So when it went through, it'd be the state and his license plate number that he just made a fake license plate number. Anybody in a machine shop could make one if they wanted to. And so this guy's getting the ticket. He's like, well, what's happening? Then they showed him the picture, and they saw it was on a big old truck trailer. And the guy had just made a fake license plate. Now, this guy's really asking for trouble who did it because he's driving around with illegal. 1, he broke the law by putting fake ones on. And 2, he's breaking the law because he's driving a vehicle they know isn't legally registered for the road. So the guy's a real scumbag. But it also shows that we can't let these stupid robots take over. This poor guy, he tried contacting the states and stuff. First, they didn't want to do anything. He had to waste a whole bunch of time. But as one of the responders to this news story, listen to this. The company who gave you tickets has no legal power. And actually, they don't. They have no legal power. If you are out of state and you get a ticket for going over a toll, whatever, with a picture, the state doesn't do it themselves. They hire private companies. They actually have no legal power to get you when you live in another state. If you live in that state, they have limited power. In New York State, it used to be that if you didn't pay the tolls, that they could suspend your license. Somebody took them to court, even in New York State, and they can't even do that anymore. They can't suspend the people's license. The only thing they can do is stop you from re-registering that vehicle in the state of New York. Right? So if you're from out of state, you get one of these tickets, there's nothing they can do anyway. They have no legal recourse. My advice is move like I did to Tennessee, where they don't deal with any of that crap. There's no roads you pay for. All the roads in Tennessee are free. And so my feeling of that is, hey, people come to Tennessee and visit. They get to drive for free. So I think people in Tennessee go visit. They should be able to drive for free where they go too. But of course, they don't see it that way because the Eastern Coast especially, they're greedy. This was all East Coast stuff, of course. They want money all the time for everything. So they're always looking for a way to take money out of the people's pockets who live there. Well, you want to talk about energy and cars and our overall society's energy? Look at this. Compared to the booming nuclear energy sector, the stock prices of European and American hydrogen energy companies, they're tanking, they're going down because everybody's finding out this hydrogen stuff is a boondoggle, that there's green hydrogen is a myth, that they're not going to have green hydrogen. Realize hydrogen, if you're going to use it as a fuel, most of the hydrogen made today is dirty hydrogen. It comes from petrochemicals because gasoline, petrochemicals, oil, the only thing they are is hydrogen and carbon. With hydrogen and carbons and all kinds of weird little combinations, but basically it's hydrogen and carbon. So they get the hydrogen from the oil anyways. It's not something, they call it dirty and the green people don't like it. Turns out the green stuff is so expensive to create and you get such a small amount of it. The only place that it makes any sense are places like Iceland, because they got all that thermal energy from the magma underneath them that's always bubbling around and boiling water. So they get free energy from the steam that come out that they can create all the hydrogen they want from the seawater. So what if it's an inefficient process? They're getting the energy for nothing anyways, right? But we all don't live on top of big magna cauldrons of volcanic boiled water. So the rest of us, we have to spend a lot of energy to make the hydrogen and then use the hydrogen to power a vehicle. You're just adding an extra step that's stupid. You're using electricity, electrolysis, to turn water into hydrogen, but then you're using the hydrogen in a fuel cell that creates electricity, right? Well, you already had electricity. Why not use it directly? Use these other steps, it becomes inefficient, and you're just wasting energy. And that's why all these hydrogen companies, their stocks are going down the toilet, because everybody's realizing, hey, this is a pipe dream, baby. We're not going to invest money into this stuff. So if you never want to miss another one of my new car repair videos, remember to ring that bell.